Hi, I'm Christopher Walker with Closely Observed English. In this video, I'm going to introduce how the assessment works in the speaking exam for the B2 First and First for Schools Cambridge exams. I'm going to tell you very quickly what the different areas are that the assessor and the interlocutor will be looking at. But I'm going to talk at more length about what you can do to improve your skills and boost your assessment in individual videos. So I'm going to make a video about each of the different areas. So this is a kind of introduction to a whole series of videos. Hopefully you'll find them useful, and hopefully if you watch them early enough before your actual exam, you should get enough ideas and tips to help you make a success of your preparations. So let me tell you in brief how the assessment works for the B2 First and First for Schools Cambridge exams. Now, as you know, or you might have seen in my previous video on this subject, there are two examiners in the room when you go in for your speaking paper. The examiner who speaks to you is called the interlocutor. They talk to you, they ask you the questions, and they listen. Now, they do assess a little bit. They do a piece of assessment that is called global achievement. I'll talk more about that in a future video, but that's the thing that they look at. They have a kind of frame or a guide that they can follow to talk about global achievement, and then they will assess how well you did at the end of your speaking paper. Now, the weird thing, or the strange thing, let's say, about the interlocutor's mark is that it isn't just one mark as such. When Cambridge get that mark, they will then increase its value compared to the other things I'll be talking about. Roughly speaking, your mark for global achievement will be about 20% of the total mark that you get for speaking. So the other person in the room then will be the assessor. That's their job. They don't speak, they just look at you, they listen carefully. And at B2 First and First for Schools, they're looking for four things. The first one we'll be looking at in a future video is called grammar and vocabulary mark. Second is discourse management, which is a bit like organization. It's how you arrange things as you're speaking. The third one is pronunciation. And the fourth one is what's called interactive communication. Basically, interactive communication is how well you talk and listen to either your partner or the interlocutor. And again, I'll be talking about that more in a future video. In terms of general assessment, you don't get, like in use of English, if you get something right, you get a mark. If you get it wrong, you don't get a mark. It works differently here. The assessment for speaking is very similar to the assessment for writing. And the way that they both work is that for each of these areas, they mark you against the band system. So on their grading sheet, which looks a bit like this, you can actually get this on the Cambridge website. They're really good at sharing materials to help students prepare for the exam. They divide things up, I'll show you here, between the bands. So the highest band is band 5. The lowest band really is band 1. Band 0 is if you go into the exam and then fall asleep, essentially. That's the only way that you could get a band 0 from my experience. If you want to get an overall pass, remember the pass mark for the B2 First for Schools is at about 60%. 60% of 5 is 3. So you want to get on average band 3 across each of the areas to get a pass overall. That doesn't mean that you have to get band 3 in every area. If your grammar and vocabulary is excellent, but your pronunciation is a bit weak, so you get maybe a 4 in grammar and vocabulary and a 2 in pronunciation, it doesn't mean that you fail the speaking because you got a 2. It just reduces your average banding. And then that's all fed into the overall grade that you get for your exam. Okay, so that gives you a general grounding in the different areas that will be assessed, who assesses them, and what sort of grade system is used. I'm now going to make 5 more videos on this topic. And in each video, I'm going to talk about a separate area of assessment. I'm going to tell you about what Band 3 requires and what you can do for Band 5. And I'm also going to give you a couple of tips so that you can approach your preparation the right way, so that you know what you can do when you go into the speaking itself. So until next time, thank you very much, and I'll see you again soon, I hope.